What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. For today's video, we are going to be creating two looks with the new Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Beauty. If you are a lover of green eyeshadow, this is going to be the one for you because this color story is chock full of beautiful, dingy, murky greens. You do get this really pretty pop of chartreuse, this kind of mint green up here. I love that we have some burnt oranges and a couple pops of neutrals in here as well. That definitely gives a lot of versatility to the palette, and that's something I love from an eyeshadow palette. Cosmic Beauty is one of my absolute favorite brands. They have such a beautiful formula. The mattes are very pigmented, but they're also easy to work with. I never get patching, skipping, or fallout either, and the shimmers are so insanely beautiful. You do get some multi-chromes and duochromes, but for the most part they are just super reflective shimmer shades without any shifts or anything like that, but they are always very smooth. They never emphasize texture, and I never get any creasing either. This palette does retail for $39. Now, that is definitely more on the affordable side when it comes to indie brands, but I wanted to point out something that I noticed when I was going through the website in preparation for this video. So when I was going through and looking at the price point and all the details, I noticed that the prices on a lot of their palettes had gone up a little bit. I can't speak to every single one because I don't remember what I paid for some of the older palettes in my collection, but I noticed when I got to the Cooltrals and the Neutrals palette, they were listed at $39, and it got me wondering because I didn't remember paying that. So I went back and I looked, and sure enough, when I bought those in June at launch, I paid $37 a piece for those palettes. So just like everything else, their prices are going up a little bit, but it still keeps them more affordable, like I said. And I would 100% pay a higher price tag for their formula and the brand because they were never good for the price. The price was always insane for how good the formula was, if that makes sense. But with that being said, we're gonna jump into this. I am gonna create two looks, one of which I have already done. So I'm gonna show you that one first, and then we will jump into our second look with this palette. Okay, so for my first look, I really want to play with these greens. This neon like yellow shade right here is calling my name. I have to put that in the inner corner. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that and then kind of work my way out. So I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which is called Lichen. And I am going to pick that one up with a Refer 26 brush, and I'm just gonna put this on my inner corner. I love a good like neon yellow green chartreusey shade for my inner corner. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. I love that little pop, and look at how beautiful and vibrant that is. I'm not getting any kick up in the pan with this shade. I can't really speak to fallout or patchiness because I am going into a very small little space and just kind of packing it on. So we'll see how these shades perform moving forward, but I am very familiar with this formula and I have very high hopes that it's going to perform perfectly. Okay, so next I want to go in with like this swampy yellow green shade right here called Marsh. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with a Refer 15 brush, and I'm going to start to bring this into the rest of my crease, kind of blending it over about halfway, maybe a little bit more. I am kind of blending and packing at the same time, so I'm not doing like big circles or anything like that, but I'm also not completely just packing it on. I want to disperse this color and just kind of have it blend. I'm going to take that same shade down onto my lower lash line, just kind of lining it up with what I just did in my crease, and then we're going to go into something a little bit deeper for my outer corner. Next, I want to go into this grungy mid-tone green shade up here. This one is called Fern, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 202 brush, and I am just going to start to pack it right out here in my outer corner, and I am going to kind of blend it over to that shade that I just put down before, kind of disperse it a little bit, and then I'll go back and deepen it up. Oh, I love these shades. These are my favorite kind of greens to play with. These more grungy, muted, murky green tones versus like true emerald and forest greens and things like that. Again, I'm going to take that shade down onto my lower lash line as well, just kind of bumping it over to that lash shade that I put down. So basically I'm just doing the same thing on the lower lash line that I'm doing up in the crease and on my lid. I want to deepen up this outer corner just a little bit, so I'm going to go into like this deeper grungy green shade over here. This one is called Nettle. I'm going to pick that up with a Morphe M506 brush, and I am just going to very lightly kind of pack it right out here in that very outer corner of my lid. And then I'm also going to bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. I am not getting any patching, skipping, fallout, anything like that with these matte shades. They are performing so beautifully. They are pigmented, they are easy to blend, easy to manipulate. I'm not experiencing any issues. Okay, so my lid is primed with my NYX glitter primer. Let's go ahead and put some shimmer on the lid. So I think what I want to do is go in with this shade right here. This one is called Undergrowth, and it is an absolutely beautiful multi-chrome. It has like a green to a gold to a brown shift to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with my finger, and I'm going to put this all over my lid. Oh my gosh, it is so insanely smooth and reflective. Like, look at how beautiful that is. I'm going to put this, like I said, all over my lid. I'm going to bring it over to about right there. So not quite all the way over to my inner corner, but pretty close. And then I'm going to bring it to my outer corner as well and just kind of blend and smush everything together. So for the inner portion of my lid, I'm going to go into this shade up here. This one is called Wilderness. It's a really pretty like green gold shade. It's not a multi-chrome or a duochrome or anything like that, but I think it's just going to look beautiful on that inner portion of my lid. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick that up with this little unearthly brush right here. This is a UC8-5, and I'm going to spray it with a little bit of my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm just going to pop it right here on that inner portion, just kind of blend everything together. And then I'm just going to take whatever's left on my brush and just kind of fluff it down here to give a little bit of extra sparkle. I don't want that full opacity like I'm trying to get on the lid. I just want a little extra shimmer. All right, y'all, so this is the first completed look with this palette, and holy smokes, did this turn out absolutely beautiful. I love the vibrancy of the greens and the yellows and the murkiness at the same time. This is so insanely beautiful, and those shimmers on the lid are beautiful. They are shifty, they are reflective, they are nice and smooth. They're not emphasizing texture, anything like that. This may be a new favorite green eyeshadow palette for me. I know that's very soon to say because I've only done the one look, but so far, I absolutely love this. But let me show you what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down, show you the shift and the sparkle and all that, and then move on to our next look with this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a House Labs liner. This is in the shade Chartreuse Matte. And then I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and finished it off with my Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerized mascara. Okay, so for my second look, I want to play with these more like burnt orangey shades. They're going to go with my top that I'm wearing today. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade over here. This one is called Clay. I am going to pick that up with a Morphe M504 brush, and I am just going to start to kind of fluff this on my outer corner in just big circular motions and start to bring it over towards the center of my crease. I'm not going to bring it all the way over because I haven't decided if I want to throw in a pop of like that mint green or if I just want to leave this more on the neutral side. So I can always bring this over a little further if I want to, but I'm just going to start right there. That is such a beautiful shade. I love it. All right, so I'm going to bring that shade down onto my lower lash line as well, just kind of lining it up with what I have going on my crease. I'm not going in super precise or anything like that. I am just really blending and kind of blowing out that shade. Okay, next, I think I've decided I want to go into this mint green shade right here, kind of do that on the inner portion of my lid. So that one is called Herbarium. Oh my gosh, I looked at that word and drew a complete blank. It's like all of a sudden I couldn't speak English. But I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 201 brush, and I am going to start by kind of packing it right here on my inner corner, and then I'm going to fluff it up into my crease, kind of blending it over towards that first shade that I put down. And whenever I get to that orange shade, I'm going to start to kind of pack it on my lid because I don't want to get any like muddy or murkiness going on. I just want everything to kind of marry together and not get really, you know, like I said, grungy or dingy. I can't use words today, sorry. So next I'm going to go into this green shade right here, which is called Algae. I'm going to go in with the same brush that I just used for the last shade. I just kind of wiped it off really quick, and I am just going to pick that up and I'm just going to kind of press it right here where that orange and that green shade meet, just to kind of blend the two shades together so we have kind of like a bridge shade from one shade to the next. See how it just kind of blends a little bit better over here than it does on the other eye? So that's what I'm gonna do for both, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the lower lash line because I took that mint green down here as well. So I just wanna kind of marry everything together. Next, I'm going to go into this shade down here called Sludge. It's a little bit more of a deeper burnt brown shade. I'm going to pick that up with a Sigma E54 brush, and I am just going to press this into my outer corner, building up a little bit of depth and definition. I don't want to bring it too far over because I don't want things to mud out and kind of get rid of that green shade that I put down, but I just want to leave it like right out here to build up that little bit of depth. I'm also going to bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just kind of wrapping everything around. With my Singe Beauty EO5, I'm going to go into this black shade over here, which is called Bark, and I am just going to very lightly kind of tap this in my outer corner. I'm not trying to let it get away from me. I'm just going to go in like that, bring it right here onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, and then I'm just going to kind of swirl it together a little bit, and once I have the shade where I want it, I'm going to go back with the last brush that I used and just kind of blend it out a little bit. So I'm not going to blend it with the brush that I just used because then that'll kind of fluff it out even more and help it get away from me. But see how that adds just the tiniest bit of depth out there? That's what I want. Once again, my eye is primed with my NYX glitter primer, so let's go ahead and do a shimmer on the lid. So I want to go in with this shade right here called Fireflies. This is the other multi-chrome in this palette, and it has this beautiful green to gold to almost like reddy orange flip to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with my finger, and we're going to pop this all over the lid. This feels so insanely smooth and just like silk. So let's do this all over the lid. Ooh, that is so, so beautiful. For the inner portion of my lid, I want to go into this cool tone green metallic shade up here. This one is called Vegetation. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO1 brush. I am going to spray it with a little bit of my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to pop this right on the inner portion of my lid, kind of blending it over to that first shade that I put down called Fireflies, and then I'm just going to take whatever is left and kind of disperse it right here on my inner corner, dragging it around onto my lower lash line, just giving that little bit of extra sparkle. All right, y'all, so this is the completed look, and I absolutely love the way this one turned out. This is by far my favorite look of the two. The mix of the cool tones and the warm tones looks so beautiful together, and that multi-chrome on the lid is so insanely shifty and beautiful. I cannot wait for y'all to see what this looks like with the lights turned down. But let me show you what I used to finish off this look so we can do that really quick and then chat about this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner. This is in the shade Seafoam. And then I finished it off with, of course, my ZC liquid liner and my Charlotte Tilbury Exaggerized mascara. Alright y'all, so based off of first impression, I absolutely love this palette. I told y'all when I finished creating my first look that this is probably going to be a new favorite green palette for me, and I 100% stand by that, and I'll tell you what did it for me. It was the second look. When I finished it, that solidified the whole thing. But these are my kind of green tones. They are dingy, they are grungy, a little bit on that murky side. I love the combination of cool tones and warm tones in here, and I'll tell you what, this chartreuse and this mint green are so intensely pigmented, and they look beautiful on the inner corner. I love that we got these burnt oranges and some pops of neutrals in here with this really pretty black shade right here. It gives a lot of versatility to the palette, and I have said many times I love a palette that has a lot of versatility to it. But as far as the formula goes in here, impeccable. It's exactly what I expected from the brand. I didn't get any issues with the mattes in here except for this black right here. I did get a tiny bit of fallout on my outer corner, but it kind of brushed away. It didn't leave any remnants behind or anything like that. Other than that, they were pigmented, very easy to work with, no patching, skipping, fallout, muddiness, anything like that. And the shimmers in here were so beautiful. They were smooth. They were almost like velvet feeling when I picked them up on my finger. This one right here called Fireflies, which is the multi-chrome that I used on this look, look is so intense and beautiful. I love the way that it looks on the lid. I love the shifts. It is nice and smooth. It's not emphasizing texture or anything like that. This is exactly what I expect from the brand, and I love it. Now, I am not somebody who typically gets excited over green eyeshadow. I do like it, I enjoy it, but it's not a favorite for me. But this palette gets me excited for green eyeshadow. This is a green palette done right. I love how it's almost monochromatic, but it has those little pops to kind of give that variety in it. It's beautiful and I love it. I 100% recommend it if you have your eyes on it. But that is going to complete this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Which look was your favorite? Did you pick up this palette? Do you like Cosmic Beauty? If you do, what is your favorite palette from the brand? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation. Light up that comment section, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. Until my next video, have a good one. Bye.